welcome back to my channel. It's your girl here, Glowybysha. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. So I created a spider look, and you know, like, I think it's cute. This is like my second Halloween look. I think it's cute. So if you guys want to see how I created this look, keep on watching. Go ahead and start off with applying some foundation. I mixed the Can't Stop Won't Stop NYX foundation in the shade Sienna and the NARS foundation in the shade Macao. It's the soft matte foundation that I always tend to use, but yeah, these two foundation are elite because it gave me a nice coverage. And using a concealer that's more or less my shade is the e.l.f. Cosmetic concealer in the shade Deep Chestnut. So I'm just applying that and highlighting my face, and I'm just going to build that up with other concealers as well. I'm just blending out that concealer using a concealer buffer brush from Real Techniques. This brush is so affordable and it just works really well with getting that full coverage. So going ahead with a highlight shade, I'm just using the Huda Beauty concealer in the shade Peanut Butter. If you do prefer using a beauty sponge, you can go ahead and use a beauty sponge to blend it out, but as you can see, I tend to kind of go and apply and blend out my concealer with a brush. As mentioned, obviously it's just a better coverage for me. Going ahead, I'm going to contour using the Black Opal foundation stick in the shade Suede Mocha. I actually have used other contour products before, but I just always tend to gravitate towards this foundation stick because it's just such a nice finish. Like, look at that. Like, it's just such a nice blend. So I'm just using the Black Opal foundation stick, my holy grail. Also going to contour my nose using that same foundation stick, and I'm just using like a small, I would say it's like a lip pencil, just to get more of a precise line on the bridge of my nose. So any blending brush that you have will be fine, but I'm using the Sigma brush. I don't know what code it is, but the details will be in the description box below. So I'm just blending out my nose contour with that. I'm just going to go ahead and brighten my under eye using the e.l.f. Cosmetics concealer in the shade Deep Warm, I believe it's called. But you can see here, I just apply a little bit and I just leave that to set, and then I'm just going to blend it out with a brush. I swear that since I bought this cream blush, I just can't stop using it. But I'm just using the Fenty Beauty cream blush in the shade Summertime Wine. I just love the pigment of this blush, and I just feel like it's really converted me to a cream blusher. So I need to get some more. So with a cream blush, you can blend it out with your fingers, you can blend it out with a brush, it's up to you. Either or, it's fine. But I went ahead and used the Real Techniques blusher brush. So after I applied my cream blush, I went ahead and blended out the rest of the concealer that we did apply earlier. And again, obviously I'm just using that same Real Techniques concealer brush. It's time to set the highlight, so I'm just using both the Huda Beauty Easy Bake in Banana Bread and Laura Mercier translucent powder in the shade Honey, and I'm just applying, well, I'm just blending that out with a powder puff, which again I got from Amazon. To warm up the face, I'm just using the Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Cocoa Naughty, and I'm just applying that with a contour brush. I believe I got this brush from like Superdrug, but you can use any brush that you're kind of comfortable with. You want to go ahead and contour your nose. If you're someone that don't really contour their nose, you can actually skip this step, but yeah, I just applied that same bronzer on the bridge of my nose. So because I'm going to do a black smoky eye, I did apply a little bit of baking powder just so that we prevent any sort of fallout from the eyeshadow. So to conceal my eyelids, I'm just using the P. Louise eyeshadow base in the shade Rumor 1. It's one of the lightest shades. I like to use this so that the pigment of the eyeshadow pops out a bit more. So because we're playing with black, I wanted the black to really be pigmented. So this eyeshadow base is a really good base for you to use. So with a black eyeshadow, like black smoky eye, I tend to kind of do the transition shades first before I apply the black. So I'm just using the Revolution bronzer in the shade Dark as a transition shade, and I'm just using a blending brush to kind of just blend that on my crease. Kind of wanted to add a bit of orange, so I'm just using the Nip and Fab contour palette, and there's an orange blush that's in the palette, so I just applied that also on my crease as well. So you can see here it did give it a bit of warmth in terms of like a bit more of a coral, no, I wouldn't say coral, but it's a bit more burnt orange. That's what I'm trying to get, like a burnt orange kind of like transition shade. So to create that deep black smoky eye on the lids, and when I say the lid, literally just apply this gel liner. So the gel liner I'm using is from Maybelline. Just apply it on your lid, and we're actually going to blend that out later. So if you just kind of watch what I'm doing, but yeah, you just want to apply the gel liner on the lids only, and don't bring it above your crease, if that makes sense, because that will then prevent that whole like panda kind of look. So to blend that out, you want to go between the gel liner and the transition shade and just kind of go back and forth. I did apply a little bit of black eyeshadow, but not too much. But yeah, you just want to make sure it's blended until you're kind of happy with it. And there's not like that gap between the gel liner and your transition shade, if that makes sense. This is probably the most easiest way that you can do a black eyeshadow if you ever wanted to do a black eyeshadow look. to deepen the lid a bit more because obviously with all that blended it kind of washed it out. So I went back to that gel liner and I just applied it on the lid so that it just kind of is more deep on the lid, and then it just kind of like fuses out on the crease. Now that the eyes are done, you want to go ahead and remove that excess powder because I don't like to kind of bake for too long anymore. So yeah, I'm just using a big kind of like fluffy brush to get rid of that excess powder. Now the fun begins. So I did start off with like drawing out a template of where I wanted the spider legs to kind of like come out from. So you just kind of wanted to, you don't need to make this perfect. This was kind of hard for me because I feel like I'm like a perfectionist, so to do like just random lines, like it was just kind of hard to kind of follow. But do you know what, like it's actually fine. So yeah, you want kind of just want to start doing your draw out your legs with a white pencil liner, as you can see me doing. Just want to also add, like, literally as I mentioned before, the lines don't need to be perfect. Like even if you do make a mistake or you don't use like one particular leg, like you can always rub it off. This is why it's always good to kind of go ahead and draw out where you want the line to start from with a white pencil liner, because you can actually make your mistakes and like kind of erase it, rather than just going straight in with like a liner or a like paint if you want to use paint. Go ahead and outline those legs that we've just nicely drawn on our eyes and basically half of our face. I'm using the NYX liner. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite difficult using this particular brush. I would suggest, and I would highly recommend using those liners where it's like a pen, because it's more precise and I feel like you have more control. But you know what, I made it work anyways, but it just took me a bit longer than usual. To give the spider legs more dimension, once you've obviously outlined with the black liner, I went ahead and used well, first I attempted using a white liner, like a liquid liner, but then that wasn't working, so I went ahead and used a white paint. I used like a water paint that I got from Amazon, and I'm just applying that with a brush. So you just want to kind of create like dots between the legs, just to give more dimension and a bit of shadow, so it's not like the spider legs are like flat, if that makes sense. Then want to go back to your liquid liner and fill in those lines. Well, you want to fill in the legs. So you can just see I'm just filling in the gaps between the white that we just applied previously. So you just want to do that with the black liner. Again, as I said, it is very difficult to do this with the liquid liner, so I would definitely suggest to get that pen liner. I know NYX do one, but my one kind of dried out, so I kind of had to just opt out for this liner. But yeah, the reason why I keep bringing it up, because it just was so difficult for me to kind of just get the control and look that I wanted, if that makes sense. So to create that illusion with the spider legs, I went ahead and used a black eyeshadow and I just applied that. So I just created a line for each leg and just made sure that it connected at the end of the spider leg. So yeah, I just did that for each leg just to create that shadow, so it gives off that illusion that there's a spider on my face, if that makes sense. See, you've created the shadow. You just want to go ahead and finish off the look by applying some black pencil liner at the bottom of, well, in your waterline, and also at the bottom of your eyes as well. And you just want to bring it down so that obviously it connects with the start of the spider legs. So to set that, you want to go ahead and apply some black eyeshadow, and I'm just smudging that with a smudge brush. You want to go ahead and apply some mascara. I did apply like 2 layers of mascara because I wasn't actually applying any false eyelashes. Side note, I'm not too sure how makeup transferred on the side of my hair, but yeah, I did wipe that off at the end of the videos because I did realize, I was thinking, what the fuck. Just lining my lips with some brown liner. So the brown liner that I used was from LA Girl in the shade Chocolate, and I think I deepened that with the MAC Chestnut liner at the end. This particular look, I didn't want to achieve like a brown nude lip combo, so I used the Maybelline nude lipstick. The name of it, I believe it's called Pure Beige. Applied some gloss. So the gloss is like a nude gloss. Again, I don't know the name of the gloss. I actually totally forgot what gloss I used, but you can use any gloss of your choice. Just extra, so I wanted to add some beauty spots, but you don't need to actually add the beauty spots if that's not your thing. But yeah, I just exaggerated some beauty spots on my face with a black liner. Pretty much the finished look. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial, and I hope you guys have a nice Halloween. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.